Jityaninaha Nacha Shrotro Jive Nacha Gnande Nacha Bhumi Bomo Natejo Navayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Naja prana sanko navai panchavayu navasapta dhatu navapancho kosha navakpanipadu najapastu vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Name Vishurago Name Logo Moho Vadunaiva Menaiva Maksayava Nadarmo Nacharto Nakamo Namoksho Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Na punyang na papang na sukhang na dukhang na mantra na tirtha na veda na janya ang bojanang noy bojan na rota Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Name tu nasanka Name jati veda Pida noiva me noiva mata najanma Nabandhu namitrang guru naiva shishva Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Aham Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupam विभूत्या च सर्वत्र सर्वैन्द्रियाणां न च संपदं नैव मुक्तिममेय चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं We shall now do the chanting of Vedic mantra. Om Bhagame Manosi Pratishtita Manaho Me Vachi Pratishtita
Om Bhagme Manoshi Pratishtita Anavivachi Pratishthitam
Abhi Abhi Medhi
Avi Avi
Vedasyamani Saha Krutang Me Ma Tuhasiha
Vedashama Srutam Rahashiha
Noditena Ahoratram Sandadami
Anino Diteno Ratran Samvadami
Itang Bodhiswami Satyang Bodhiswami
Satyam Vadishami Satyam Vadishami
Tatmam Abhatu Tadbhaktaram Abhatu
Tatmam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu
Avatu Mam Avatu Bhaktaram Avatu Bhaktaram
Avatu Avatu Bhaktaram
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shanti Shanti
Om Apayantu Mamangani Bhat Pranah Chokshu
Om Pranam Chakshu
Uttramata Balam Indriyani Cha Sarvani
Srotamaha Balam Indriyani Cha Sharvani
Sarvyang Brahma Upanishadam
Sarvam Brahmo Upanishadam
Aham Brahma Nirakuriyat Mama Brahma Nirakaro
Maham Brahmo Nirakuriyat Mama Brahmo Nirakaro
निराकरणमस्तु निराकरणं मे अस्तु
अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणमस्तु
ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु
धर्म ते मोहि सन्तु ते मोहि सन्तु
शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
ॐ पूर्णमादः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णं मुदच्यते
पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेव अवशिष्यते
पूर्णशः पूर्णमादाय पूर्णम् एव अवशिष्यते
शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
सहनो भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु
ॐ शानुवतु शानो भुनक्तु
वीर्यं करवावहै
शाकवीर्यं करवावहै
नो अधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
तेजस्विनो अधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
शान्ति शान्ति
शांनो मित्रः शांवरुणः शांनो भवति अर्योमा
ॐ शाम्नो मित्रः शाम्वरुणः शाम्नो भवति अर्योमा
शांनो इंद्रः बृहस्पतिः शांनो विष्णुरुक्रमः
शामेन्द्रः बृहस्पतिः शाम्नो विष्णु उरुक्रमः
नमः ब्रह्मणे नमः देवाय
नमः ब्रह्मणे नमः देवाय
त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि
तमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मयसि
त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
तमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि
प्रियं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि
रामवतु तद्वक्तारामवतु
तत्माम् अवतु तदुत्तरम् अवतु
मामवतु वक्ताराम्
अवतु माम् अवतुत्तरम्
शांति शांति शांति
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिषां देवा
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शरणं देवा
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षवीययोत्रः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षवीर्ययोत्रः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांशतनुभिः
Kashim Devohitam Yatayu
वशेमादयितं यथायु
Shanti 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 Om
ॐ
Shanti
शान्ति शान्ति
Shanti
शान्तिः
We're now starting our discussion. Today's session is 257th session on the Digital Sunday Talk Mode. Since I am talking today from a place outside Kolkata, that's why I'm speaking in English now. The topic today is Pratyahar Yoga. It is the God Connect through withdrawal. Pratyahar or God Connect through withdrawal is a very important aspect of meditative practice in the spiritual pathway. It's one of the most important practice in the Rig Vedic way of God realization and the Rig Vedic thoughts. The 8 principles or 8 limbs of meditation, which was advocated by sage Patanjali, has an important component in Pratyahar. Also, we find that in the Bhagavatam, Pratyahar is one of the most important aspect of God realization and getting into God Connect. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also has enumerated the same thing in a different manner, highlighting on Pratyahar in different ways and from different aspects. Therefore, Pratyahar Yoga is an important component of meditative attainment in the spiritual pathways for the realization of God. This is actually so important that in the Advaita Vedanta or the unified monism, where the thought is that, the realized spirit is that, it is the Brahman who is formless, who doesn't have any belonging on time, space, no identity of any form and any kind, universally present everywhere outside the entities and elements, and at the same time, universally present everywhere within the elements and the forms. The universality of the Supreme in the form of spirit is a non-identity. But when the spiritual aspiration reaches to the same level of non-identity through a process of rejecting other forms of external identities and pseudo-identities or kind of skewed identities, then only the spiritual person, the spiritual seeker of God, can understand the spirit of this pratyahar, and can attain the ultimate truth through the process of pratyahar or withdrawal through the process of God Connect, and getting a God Connect through the process as an ultimate gift of God in this yoga. Now we need to define what exactly is yoga and why this concept of yoga is actually important for a spiritual personality. Yoga, in the sense that we have been using in the world now, with a World Yoga Day and other things, as a kind of recognition of the process of yoga, is actually something which is good for human society, is beneficial to human society. It helps the human being in getting the minds consolidated and free from the impacts and influences of unexpected designs and things. Yoga, as is being practiced throughout the world now, in most of the cases, or in almost all cases, has the beneficial dimensions and components. The first benefit, as has been mentioned just now, the benefit that connects and relates with the human mind. The other one is the benefit that connects and relates to human body in terms of its ailments and health. Now, when it comes to offering the benefit to the human mind, the aspects of the mind needs to be remembered. Our sages have classified the human mind among three different stages of consciousness and five different states of the mind. The states of the minds are Mudha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Niruddha. Sometimes it's mentioned as Kshipta, then Mudha, then Vikshipta, then Ekagra, then Niruddha. Both ways is the same, where it tries to mention the different states of the mind, and at these different states of the mind reveals different dimensions of the personality, different dimensions of the individual. And these different dimensions of the individual are actually the dimensions which talk about the connect between the inner realities and the outer realities. Based on this classification of the mental states, the sages have categorized the consciousness among three different categories. One is Jagrat, the other one is Swapna, the third is Sushupti. Now I am coming to the states and connecting it with the conscious level of the human personality. Now Jagrata, or the awakened state of the person. When you consider that you are awakened, you are awake, meaning a person is doing all the normal works of the world, And thinking, creating, adding things, or sometimes destroying things, sometimes having a noble thought, sometimes having a destructive thought, sometimes having a friendly tunes in mind, sometimes having a killer tunes in mind. There could be so many ways in the Jagrat or the awakened condition. Awakened condition is a normal human condition considered. Medical science also, the modern medical science also considers this as a normal human state. However, Ayurveda or the ancient science of medicine derived from the Indian sages several thousand years ago, Ayurveda and its root lying in the Atharva Veda does not consider that as actually normal. It considers the now understood normal state as a kind of partial reality unrecognized through the state or the condition of lack of the wisdom. It is the lack of the wisdom. Wisdom is a realization of God. Lack of wisdom is a non realized state. Non realized means non realization of God. And in the lack of wisdom, we consider reality something which is all temporal. The temporal existence of things, matter, living, and all other things which can or cannot be described in proper sense of the term are all partially real. But we consider that as the only real. The scientific understanding started from Sir Isaac Newton through his principles of basic understanding of the cosmic system. And in that principle is mentioned something which is measurable, something which is quantifiable, something which has got a dimension, having a measure of the dimension, something which can be noticed in any way through any of the senses of human organ, or something which has got a indirect presence even without having the recognition by the human senses, are actually the state of reality. Beyond this, nothing can be considered as real. This is the scientific view. And if somebody wants to have an idea about the scientific view, this is what is the continuity until today about the fundamentals and basic science. Now let's come to Shifta condition of mind. Shifta is turbulent. Turbulent mind. Turbulent mind is restless. This mind is restless, meaning what? The mind cannot rest, cannot focus on one single thing at a time for a longer period. If you're focusing on one single thing at a time for a fairly long period, you find that other things are creeping in, jumping into, forcing into their ways into your own thoughts. This mind is a mind of turbulence, Shifta. Now, this mind is a mind which is a normal in the usual sense of the term. Then there is a condition of the mind called mudha. Mudha is ignorance, a mind which is actually founded upon the fundamentals of ignorance. What are the fundamentals of ignorance? I'll just show you one of the recent studies. I'll share it with you now. A very recent study which identifies that so far we knew that the matter was the ultimate reality from scientific point of view. After the concept of black hole came into picture, the concept of black hole has captured the notion of scientists, though NASA is yet to consider it fully and recognize it fully. Mostly or partially it has recognized. Now, the study of Princeton University and published in 2013, this I'm going to quote a little part of it. Black holes are black. That seems like a self evident statement, very clear. Nothing can escape the event horizon of a black hole. A point to be noted, nothing can escape the event horizon of a black hole. Event horizon, it's not the pull, it's not a gravitation, it's not a pull by the masses, it's an event horizon. I'm going to discuss now what is that. The event horizon isn't a physical barrier. The event horizon is not a physical barrier or a boundary, but an information membrane defining a region from which no other particle or radiation can escape. Black holes are the ultimate expressions of the general relativity. I'll explain what is the essence of general relativity. Where mass carves space so much that a region is purged off from the view. That's why it's black. The view doesn't reach there. What is it? It's not a matter. It's not a material force that pulls it down. Not a cord connected which, pulls back through the strings. It's an information membrane. Information membrane. I'm coming to a broader sense of the term from our Vedas. Black holes are the final states of massive stars. Every star in a lifelong battle between the forces of light and darkness. The light comes from the fusion reactions, creating pressure that pushes outward, while the dark is implacable force of gravity pulling inwards. In the end, gravity always wins. When a star 20 or more times the sun's mass exhausts its nuclear fuel, the core collapses into a state of dense. It is so dense that nothing can escape, not even light. An isolated black hole would be black and undetectable. This study, conducted and recognized, patronized by Princeton University, is done by Chris Impey and Holly Henry in 2013 and published. The title given is Dreams of the Other World. Those who have got an interest can get into the further elaborations of this. Now let's come to a point where there was a interactions between a sage and a king in the Vedic period. The name of the sage is Balaki, and the name of the king, a very great king, very popular great king, Ajatasattu. The conversation and the interactions between them is connected with the elaboration of this as a concept. Now, the Kshipta, Mudha, and Vikshipta. Vikshipta is more turbulent, is rigorously turbulent. And so these three states are the states of the normal mind, as has been elaborated by the normal mental scientists or the scientists. Now, from other side, we find that this condition of mind, from our consciousness, we find that's a part of the Jagrat. That's a part revelation of the Jagrata, meaning awakened condition of the mind. Now, in the awakened condition, there could be other things also. Mind could be made ekagra, concentrated, but that needs an effort. Now, how can that effort be made? That effort be made through a process. Patanjali had mentioned yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, iho, ashta, angani, sadhana, iti. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahar. These five are the preparatory stages. Ashta is 8. Ashtanga is 8-limbed, meaning it's a body of preparation for a God connect. It's a body of God connect with 8 different limbs, of which yama, niyama, asana, these 3 are basic fundamentals. Pranayama is the process that induces into, and pratyahar is the calling upon the destiny. Now, what is a pratyahar? Shankaracharya, the Atmashatakam, and Shankaracharya says, Manaha buddhi ahankaro chitvani naham. Nacha shrutro jive, nacha grhana netre, nacha bhumi, no tejo, no vayu, chit ananda rupaha, shivoho aham, shivoho aham. I'm that Supreme Lord Shiva, the Lord of Lords. I'm not this creation, the earth system, the world, neither the forces of strength, the fire, the light, Aditya, Surya Dev. I'm not a Vayu, the flowing air, which maintains the vital prana shakti, the energy that leads to the survival, vital. I'm not the mind. I'm not the mind. I'm not the intellect. Mind and intellect together drives a living organism. Mind and intellect absent, so living organism loses a great part of relevance. So what the person has to attempt to reestablish the relevance. Ahankara, the ego, the overall identity of the person. I'm not that. The Indian sages during the Vedic period and even the pre-modern and modern period Those who have attained that spiritual height, most of them has gone the way, the same way. I'm mentioning about two persons, Acharya Ramanujam and Maharshi Raman. Maharshi Raman started with non-identity and identity. Ramana Maharshi, non-identity and identity. What is a non-identity? This was also mentioned by Sri Ramakrishna as described in the Kathamrita or the Gospel of Ramakrishna. Basically done by Shankaracharya in the known phase of our history. The same thing, who am I? The question. And in order to establish the answer to the question, who am I? Then the identities were cross-checked with. Am I the mind? I'm not. Am I the intellect? I'm not. Am I the ego self? I'm not. Now, when it comes to the ego self, the modern psychologists, existential scientists, and psychosocial philosophers all have recognized and gone the way that, your ego self is the foundation of your identity. Yes, from a material sense of the term, the ego self gives the foundation. But the ego self does not maintain that proper identity in the ultimate sense of the term, which we are going to have the connect with now. The story that the fact of the state of things that I wanted to explain is the fact and transactions between a sage and a king, Balaki. Balaki, a young sage, through a very strong process and rigorous process of spiritual meditative journey, he had attained the realization. Balaki had a thought that I'm a realized person. So at that point of time in the Vedic period, a lot of local kings were there. Now there was a king who was very profound and was recognized as a king of kings in the early Vedic period. This should be around 20,000 years ago from now. The name's Ajatashatru. The name signifies, this name was given by Sage Vasishtha. The name signifies that this man did not have any enemy anywhere in any sense of the term. This man was friendly to everybody. This man was close to everybody. This man was dear to all. And there was no enemy to this man. Now, Balaki, as an attained person, like in the modern period, a person having a student when he or she qualifies, attains the degrees, attains the level of knowledge, attains the expertise, goes to corporate sector or some companies or creates own company herself or himself, and then does the you know rolling down of the time, does the activities for living, for growth, for happiness in life. At that Vedic period, the concept was, if you have earned the wisdom, if you have earned the realization of God, then it is your responsibility and it is your intrinsic duty to serve the society of humans, society of this creation, in a way that helps the survival and growth of this creation in the right perspective. So you can take the shelter, you can join hands with a person who is already a leader of the thing, a king, or you can develop your own institutional activity or collective activity and spread the messages, or you can also train people to seek truth in life, to have the realization of God in life. You can also perform as an individual, visiting places and inspiring people to attain the essential truth of the Supreme. So Balaki thought, I have that, I have attained that knowledge of providing the sharing the wisdom that I have realized. I'll share with many people. I can share with many people if I help a king to do the same, and a king becomes my disciple, the king spreads it across. So there is a concept based on which Balaki came to the place of Ajata Shatru. Balaki has reached the place of Ajata Shatru and finds that Ajata Shatru is working. There are a lot of people he was taking their problems, he was, hearing their problems and immediately solving the problems. Then suddenly he walked forward and went to a place, and then there were some people who were expecting Ajatashatru to meet them and do something for them. Some small issues were there. Ajatashatru did the intervention and did that. Balaki was there, but he was not even noticing the presence of Balaki. Whole day is almost gone. Now it's close to sunset because Balaki had reached there immediately after the sunrise. And he found this man is continuously working and not even recognizing the presence. Balaki all of a sudden had developed some disgust in his mind. As soon as the disgust was there in the mind of Balaki, Ajatashatru found that I need to respond. So he understood. And then he immediately came back and turned back and then responded to Balaki saying that, Great sage, what can I do for you? Tell me, please. Then the sage had said, that, okay, I have come here to teach you the spirit of truth, of supreme knowledge of God, and I want that you spread that to the world across. Ajatashatru had said, oh, that's so nice. So you be with us, take some, refreshments, and then let's go for a walk. And then at that time, I'll listen to you. So he was offered fruits, etc. And then Balaki was very happy. And Ajatashatru then said, Great sage, please come along. So they went to a slightly, distant place, maybe with a chariot. And then on reaching there, they came down and started walking forward. And Balaki and Ajatashatru was moving slightly inside, and Balaki found some people are sleeping. One person was sleeping deep. Ajatashatru called him by his name, but no response. Then he called louder, even no response. Then Ajatashatru had touched the person and shaken the person. The person came back from sleep, had arisen, and says, Oh, Raja, King, you are here. Tell me, what can I do for you? He says, No, no, be quiet. Sage is with me. I want to ask you, two questions. A sage is here. He's a bright, brilliant sage. He wants to understand. He wants me to learn. So I'm so fortunate. And that's why I thought that I'll try to understand things in a proper sense. So tell me, when you were sleeping, where were you? What was your position? You were sleeping. Now, wherever your position was, the person was surprised. Cooking. You are that knowledgeable person. You are asking me. I want to ask you. You tell me. I was into a dream. No, no. He says, no, no, please. You mention what was your position. The man says, oh, no, I don't know because I was not present in myself. Okay. Now, when you are into the dream, what was your dream? Oh, king. Oh, that was so nice a dream. I was in a nice place. And I was seeing that, what a nice a beauty of the nature. And I was having a kind of interactions in that. It's thriving in that, nature's beauty. I was so amazed. Oh, sage, yeah, it's a wonder that God has created. Acha, could you tell me where was that? Oh, says, I don't know. What was that? I don't know. Where was that? I don't know. Oh, acha, did you ever visit similar place somewhere in some time before? He says, oh, says, you know that I am a person, I am staying here, and it's adjacent is a forest area, and that's such a beautiful area. And beautiful, there was a lake, there was a hill, there was a lot of flowers, and there are a lot of, the birds were singing good songs. We hear all those things here, but then that was, a different place, like a heaven. We have heard of heaven being so, beautiful a place. And I guess that was such a beautiful place. Ajatashatru says, so it is none of your memory that got revealed, isn't it? Yes, king. Okay. At that time, what was your identity? Could you tell me? He says, I don't know. Who you were at that time? Could you understand who you were at that time? No, no, I don't have any idea. I don't have any understanding. So I don't know who I was at that time. I don't know what was my identity at that time. I don't know. Any perception, any thought? I believe that I have a grace of God. God has helped me. God helped me to see such a beautiful things which I enjoyed in my dream. Now Ajatashatru turns back to Balaki. Balaki, on our way you had said, you had asked me, what is Brahman? I said, Brahman is there in our conscious level, Jagrat, in our dreams, Swapna, and in our Sushupti, when we thrive through the dream and dreamful way of life. I'm into the dream world, but I'm in the physical. It's a dreamy, physical, actual, perpetual reality. He said, what is that? Could you mention? Balaki was amazed. Balaki said, O the king, I had a thought that I have realized all. Now I understand that I did not. Balaki said, O King Ajatashatru, I find that even though you are a king, even though you are known as such a friendly king everywhere, I find you are a sage who could be a master of all sages, and I consider you as my master. If you, with a graceful mind of yours, accept me as your disciple, I will consider that I am having the grace of God. I am blessed by God. If you accept, so I am doing Samit Pani to you. Please allow me to have that ekagra in mind. Now, this ekagrata was now a kind of seeking by Balaki the sage from Ajatashatru the great king. Because Balaki understood that the nuances between the process of the understanding and realization of the soul on art in the creation is better known by him, better understood by him, better realized by him. But what is the process? He was in the process of throughout the entire period of the available time period of the person into the depth of the work. Then he asked, my master, could you tell me what is the secret behind your attaining such a superior most height of spiritual understanding? Ajatashatru says, O great says, Balaki, be detached. You had a notion that you are a sage. You had a notion that you have attained the wisdom. You had a notion that you have attained the wisdom which you wanted to distribute to the world through a king. It was a good intent of yours, but that notion was wrong. I appreciate, I respect your intent, but I suggest you to have a different notion than this. I quote from the Bhagavatam. Matarthe artha parityagaha bhogosya cha sukhasya cha ishtang dattang hutang yaptyang matarthang yad brutaha tapaha. Matarthe artha asangya chesta cha basyusha mat gune anukaranam mai atmanang cha manosaha sarvo kamo vivarjam adaraha paricharyang sarvo ange abhivandanam madbhakta puja abhyadhikaha sarvabhuteshu parityaga sav matmatihi. श्रद्धया अमृत कथायांग में स्वस्मन मत अनुकीर्तनम पर अनिष्ठा च पूजायांग स्तुति भी स्तवनं ममः एवं धर्मे एव मनुष्यम अमुद्वा एव आत्मनिवेदितम मयि संजायते भक्ति कुह अन्यत्र हि अस्य अवशिष्यते पार्थिवम. Now, And Bhagavatam, the sage realizes the spirit of God. Shukdev Goswami Maharaj, the person, the sage who was graced by the Supreme to have the spirit and knowledge of the Bhagavatam, where the entire spirit of God's presence on earth is presented by. And the entire purpose of this creation is categorically mentioned, and the way one can attain the devotion which could take you to the height of realization of God. Withdrawal is a withdrawal in your mind. What happens then? Kshipta, Mudha, Vikshipta. Forget about this stage. Overcome that. By what? By ekagra. What is an ekagrata? Shukdev Goswami Maharaj gets it from the Lord and presents. What does he say? Madarthe artha parityagaha. Whatever sense of reality you possess in yourself, get out of that with a view to realize the essence of reality of the divine presence in this creation. Understanding the spirit of the divine and the intent of the divine in this creation, let it be the focus of your life. That is the withdrawal. It is not withdrawal from the work. It is but the withdrawal from the attachments, delusions, and the cords of selfish considerations connected in this process of living on earth. And that's when it's possible you attain the spirit of the divine. That's the process of spiritual attainment. And in that, what do you get? Patanjali says, you have to follow certain principles. Aparigraha, ahimsa, satyah, asteya, brahma vichara. And then what do you maintain? Jati, desho, kalo, samayan, avichinna, sarvabhaumo, mahabhutam. You are connected with everything. But again, at the same time, you are not connected with anything. You are a detached entity. Shauchaha, santosho, tapaho, swadhayo, ishvara, pranidhani, niyamayaha. You're making your mind continuously clean and clean and clean and clean. The impurities of mind are the Shararipu. You're cleansing that continuously. By what? By remembering God inside your mind. You remember that always. And then what you are doing? Satya Pratishthayan Kriya Phala Ashrayotyam. What is your positive intent? You want to establish the truth of the divine. If you wish to establish the truth of the divine, you have to attain the truth of the divine yourself. And how does attain finally? Svatva Shuddhi Samyana Masam Ekagram Indriya Jayo Atma Darshana Yogo Atmanam Pratyaharo Sada Beniyaga. Always, always, always be into the process of non-detachment, non-attachment. Be into the process of detachment. Manaha buddhi ahankaro chitvani no aham. Na cha shrotam jive, na cha ghana netri, na cha gomo bhumi, na tejo, na vayu. You are what? Chidanando, Chit Anando Rupam, Shivoho Aham, Shivoho Aham, Shivoho Aham. Shankaracharya mentions that in the ultimate sense, and he mentions, Patanjali mentions further, Santoshat Anuttamaha Sukhalabha, Kaya Indriyo Siddhi Asuddhi Kshayat Tapusyat, Niyama Swadhyaya Mantra Japyam Ato Nyam Swadhyay Mantra Japam. All this you have to inculcate in yourself to make your being, your life, your personality, your character capable enough to have the spirit of detachment being into this world. And what you have to have the spirit in mind? Again, Patanjali says, Swadhyayat Ishta Devata Samprayogaha. Swadhyayat Ishta Devata Samprayogaha. Says spoiler mentions Aham etam namnyaha atmaha agne atmaha jatisho atmaha iti vayupasvi saha yaha hya etam eva upaste iteshang sarveshang atma bhavati. So have the assertive reality within yourself, and that assertive reality comes through the sense of positive identity and having a dimension around of the things which you have to be unattached with. The reality which we find in the rational sense of the term is a fraction, is a part of the true reality. The true reality is the Supreme Lord. God Himself, Divine Himself is the true reality. The true reality needs to be understood, conceived in life. The true reality needs to be conceived in the perspective which is expected of. The true reality is God Himself. God Himself is the truth. He is the truth, all combined. He is the universality. He is not the black hole. He is having all positive, even sometime later the scientists should find the black hole, which is an absorbent of everything, must be having some light within. It's a complete darkness, but the complete darkness must be having the source of light within. A star which has exhausted its nuclear fuel must be having the matter that should be there in a minuscule form. The star in the condensed form is over there. Now, if the nuclear fuel through the process of fusion, it's got exhausted, then the process of fission and fusion together will get the matter come out of its own boundaries and reveal its own inner strength of the consciousness. And the conscious strength of the matter is the supreme, is a part of the supreme reality. What we are? We are individuals, but we are non individuals at the same time. You are individual, but you are a non individual at the same time. You are individual to the extent that you consider reality as being you as an individual. You are a non individual when you consider that you are a part, you are an element of the supreme reality, and that's attained. That realization is attained when you are in your a position and condition of ecstasy, a connection with the supreme reality, the ocean of supreme reality, the infinite supreme reality. You will find in the supreme reality, the infinite ocean of that, you are a spark of light in that. You are not a darkness. No one can remain as and be a black hole on earth, in the creation. It is a segment of that for a while. And that segment has to get out of this condition of this, the supreme infinite darkness and reveal the intrinsic light within the whole of the darkness, within the intrinsic dimension of the darkness. Matter is a non-matter. Matter is a matter which has actually curved down the illumined consciousness within itself. The matter has actually carved it down, and it's actually covered with the lead of the external identities, and the lead of the external identities when it's opened up. That's why the sages had given the call saying that apabrinuhu, apabrinuhu, apabrinuhu. You unfold yourself, you open up, you'll find the consciousness lying within. When you are in Jagrat, when you are in Swapna, when you are in Sushupti, all three states are the same state of yours. What you find in the other states of yours, being alive, remaining alive, and also having the experiencing of that, it's a part of the reality that you belong to. The psychologists, the psychosocial scientists, and the psychophysical scientists, they have understood and discovered and explained that the dream world is something which is there intrinsic in, and an experience which was there before. It's a part of the truth that they have discovered. The entire truth is it's not limited to that. It's just a segment of that which could happen to a mind, the mind which is engrossed in the matter, the mind which is engrossed in the cravings for the matter, the mind which is engrossed in any of these elements of the Sharadipu or the six, the principles of life. That mind would cultivate this. The other mind which transcends out of it, the mind which transcends comes out of it, that mind has got the focus on God. That mind will always maintain and nurture the focus on God. When you have the focus of God in yourself, then you'll find it's all illumined. And that illumination is possible when you don't cover it within a inside a small container and put a lid on the top of the container so that the light can't come out of it. That's what has been the reality of the modern mind. The reality of the modern mind is that even though the truth is there realized, the truth is kept inside a small container, and the container's opening is covered with a lid, and the lid is closed tightly, and therefore the container does not allow the light to come out of it, and we consider that it's all dark inside. It's never dark, it's all illumined objects inside. And what it has been mentioned, ततोपीत अखिल आचार सन काम क्रोध विमान अधिकम तस्मिन् न एव करणीयं तस्मिन् न एव करणीयम. When you are constrained by those elements of the Sharadipu, you are constrained by the desire in the world, you are constrained by the selfish cravings in the world, you will never be able to understand, you will never be able to realize the supreme truth. So, what you have to do, you have to come out of that and you have to get rid of that, and then you understand. एवं सद्येषु भूतेषु भक्ति ही अव्यभिचारिणी कर्तव्या पंडिते ज्ञाता सर्वभूतमयं हरिं सन्मानो बहुमानो प्रीति विरहे तद विचिक्षम ख्याति तदर्थो प्राणो स्थान तत् इयः एव सर्व तद्भाव प्रतिकूल्याति च स्मरण एव बहुष्मान्. Then what do? You try to keep in mind, you try to do that in mind. Cultivate that in mind. Cultivate continuously the Spirit of God. Cultivate continuously the Spirit of God, and you find a point of time comes in your life when you understand, you realize truly that God is yours, so close to you. God has taken some form. Could be God becomes your friend, like Arjuna, who could become a friend of God. God becomes your so close that he's always your associate with yourself. And what has been mentioned, this has been mentioned by the Acharya Ramanujam, that when you have kirtana of Lord within your mind, then you find the through the kirtana of Lord, through the uttering of the name of God within, through the remembering of God inside your mind, you find it becomes real. Gradually it becomes real. Initially, it was a kind of distant pool of thought, and you maintain that pool of thought, and suddenly it vanishes. Again, you maintain the pool of thought, and then vanishes. Then gradually, you start doing, you do the practice, and you'll find when a day comes when you become a person who understands, who realizes, who feels, who experiences the Spirit of Lord within, the Spirit of God within, the Spirit of truth within, and the experience comes that moment only when you have been in a position to have the condition of pratyahar. Pratyahar yoga, therefore, plays a very, very, very important role in spiritual realization of God. Pratyahar yoga is a disconnect from the wrong things, the subtle things, the temporal, and connect with the Supreme, and connect with the truth, spirit, and illumination. Pratyahar Yoga is not withdrawal from the world of work. Pratyahar Yoga is not withdrawal from the life in the world. Pratyahar Yoga is not withdrawal from the process of this universe, the process of this world. Pratyahar Yoga is withdrawal from the attachments arising out of those attachments, connecting with those, the cords of attachment which are binding forces in life throughout the phases of life. Pratyahar is to come out of that and be merged into the Spirit of God, merge into the Spirit of God, merge into the flow of the Spirit of God in the true sense of term. through your process of realization. It said smarana, manana, and chintana. Smarana is remember God always. Manana is keep God in mind always. Chintana is have thought of God always. If you have got smaranam, mananam, chintanam, you continue in this, the remembering God, the acceptance of God within, or maintaining God within, and thinking of God, thoughts of the divinity. This will make you attain the realization. Balaki comes out of this entire episode of things and declares that Ajatashatru, my master, is a great sage whom I have never come across with, is a person who lives in God, who lives with God, who himself is a divine personality. Balaki realizes that my first realization through the ecstasy, through the process of ecstasy, was a partial realization. And now, what I understand, what I learn, what I get from him is the next phase of that realization. And I continue to attain that realization. Balaki sage, O the king, O the master, O the great sage, Ajatashatru, you have actually made this world survive on the Spirit of God through the process of withdrawing from the attachments of the work and getting fully absorbed in the flow of work. That's what was the advice given to Arjuna by Lord Krishna in the ultimate sense of the term and as an essential message of the Bhagavad Gita. I pray to the divine to offer the blessings to those who are in the pathways of realization of God. Thank you all. Shall now do the chanting of Vedic verses, Veda mantra. সবাই পার্টিসিপেট করুন। ॐ वाग्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनहो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठिता
Om
वाग्मे मनोषि प्रतिष्ठिता मविवाचि प्रतिष्ठिता
वेदयामा अनिसः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहस्या
वेदशामा अनिष्टः सुतम मे मा प्रहस्यात्
नोदितेन अहोरात्रां संददामि
तेनो अधितेनो रात्रां संवदामि
रीतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि
रीतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि
मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु
तत्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु
अवतु मामवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्
अवो मामवतु वक्तारम् अवतु वक्तारम्
ॐ Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Apayantu Mamangani Bhakrana Chokshu.
Om Apayantu Mama Angani Pranachakshu.
Dramataha Balam Indiyani Cha Sarvani.
Srutamataha balam indrani cha sharvani.
Nang Brahma Upanishadam.
Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam.
Aham Brahma Nirakuriyat Mama Brahma Nirakaro.
Maham Brahma Nirakuriyat Ma Brahma Nirakaro.
Nirakarnamastu Nirakarnamyastu.
Anirakamastu Aniramyastu.
Namaste Moi Santu Te Moi Santu.
Dharmaste moi santu te moi santu.
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Purnamadaha Purnamidang Purnat Purnamudachyate.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Udayate.
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishvate.
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate.
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti.
Sahano avatu sahano bhunatu.
Om Shanavatu Shanavatu.
Yam karvavahui.
Sahaviryam Karvavahe.
Sino aditamastu ma vidvishabahui.
Tejasvino Aitamastu Ma Vidvishavai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shangno Mitraha Shangvarunaha Shangno Bhakti Aryumaha.
Om Shamno Mitraha Shamvarunaha Shamavavati Aryumaha.
Indra Brihaspati Shangno Vishnu Urukramaha.
Shamna Indra Brihashpati Shamna Vishnu Urukramaha.
Brahmane Namaha Devayu.
Namo Brahmane Namo Devayo.
Amiva Pratyakshang Brahmasi.
Tatveda Pratyaksham Brahmayashi.
Swami Pratakshan Brahma Bodhiswami
Tameva Prashyam Brahma Vadishyami
Tang Bodhiswami Bodhiswami
Ritam Vashyami Satyam Vadishyami
Amavatu Tadvakaramavatu
Tatmavatu Tatvaram Avatu
Avatu Mama Budvakaram
Avatu Mam
Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Bhadran Karne Bhishram Deva
Om Bhadram Karne Visharam Deva
Bhadram Pasema Akshaviyayotra
Bhadram Pashimakshavi
Yatayu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
So now do the meditation for 2 minutes. Now 2 minutes meditation. এখন 2 মিনিট ধ্যান সবাই একসাথে 2 minutes meditation now. জয় মা, জয় মা, জয় মা। We are closing now. আমরা এখন বন্ধ করছি। For the day, we are closing now. We shall have the same program day, 30 standard time. আমরা আমাদের program সবাই ভালো থাকবেন। Wish you all the best. সবাই ভালো থাকবেন। Wish you all the best. All the best. Thank you so much. Thank you.